What's up guys, Winter Kills here and welcome back to a brand new deck profile. I know it's been a long time since we've had another Atlantean Mermail deck profile, but I've finally made some changes, and with the new list I felt it'd only be appropriate that I finally get another list out for you guys, being one of the most popular decks on my channel. At least I think so, at least for me. And my favorite deck to do profiles on would be Mermail's, but without further ado, we're going to get into the profiles. See, I made some changes to the main deck and extra deck a little bit since you've seen the last profile and the side deck, which really isn't too relevant. There's some kind of random stuff in here, but obviously your side deck depends on what you're playing against, wherever you're playing. But yeah, I'm sure most of you know that. But anyways, without further ado, we'll get into the profile, starting with the monster lineup as per usual. So we got 3 copies of Mermail Abyss Megalo. I know somebody said 2 Megalo was sufficient last time. I just see nothing wrong with 3 Megalo. 3 Megalo is, I think, the way to go if you want to just OTK a lot, and this build has done nothing but OTK people for the past few weeks. It's just been consistent, surprisingly, and sometimes the deck's fault is consistency, but you want to be able to see your Megalo, and you definitely want to see this guy to discard card to get your effects, because it's the main catalyst of how the deck works. You need to discard stuff to get your effects going, and through doing that, you get your damage on board. And then also we play 3 copies of Mermail Abyss, whatever you want to call it. I love this card. I wish there was a way to search it. It's just too unfortunate there isn't. But it's just so good. Teus, I think, is one of the better cards next to Megalo. Just this and Dragoons. It's just such a good play. And next we have 1 Mermail Abyss lead. I want to play this guy. I'm playing Gund, and you know, just this and Dragoons, going after this guy off the Dragoons and getting yourself a Gund, and then discarding, you know, Gund and lead off your Megalo. It just sets up huge plays, and I think lead is a lot of times what helps you in those difficult matches, because Megalo can't beat over a lot of things, can't beat over Dante, for example, but he can. And with Mizuchi helps you get over more stuff, like bigger ships like Cosmo ships and Dark Destroyer and Dark Eclipser. So you want to be able to out those things, because by having the better attack, and he does help with hand loop. And then speaking of hand loop, we play 1 Mooling Glacia. Smaller monsters we have for Mermails, we have the 4 that I've been sticking with for quite some time now. It's just your standard Pike, Turge, Lind, and Gund. A lot of people ask, like, why don't I play more Gund? I just don't need it that much. I don't see it coming up that much, and since it's only a once per turn effect, it's not that useful at, I think, more than 1, because you're only ever really going to resolve 1 Gund in a turn unless you can get Turge to get it back. I mean, 1 Gund in the game, I should say, because, you know, usually when you get to use your Gund, in my past experience, is usually that game you end up winning, because you're just putting so much advantage on your field. And then next, of course, we're starting to get into the Atlanteans here. 3 Neptibus, Atlantean Prince. Gotta play this card. It's a must-have at 3. And then we play 2 copies of Atlantean Dragoons, 2 copies of Atlantean Marksmen, and just 2 copies of Atlantean Heavy Infantry to round off the Atlanteans. I've been liking this ratio for a long time, and I think I'm going to stick with it, because it's just been solid at, you know, the ratio it's been at. And then Deep Sea Diva, of course, you got to play the Diva. Please come back to 3. Then we have 3 copies of Gameciel, the Sea Turtle Kaiju. Got the new super rares, and boy, do they look really nice. I love this card at 3. There's so many times where you have to go up against a tough first turn field, which decks can turn out a lot easier these days, and it just helps you out those fields without using your resources like infantry and stuff like that. This just helps you deal with boards a lot easier. I just think it's a must-have at 3, and you do have cards like Moray Agreed to put them back when they're not that useful at certain times. And then Double Max C. I moved this card from the side deck into the main deck since it's now at 2 for some weird reason. I figured I might as well just play it, get some more draw power, and since you're usually going second, Maxi is a great card to have while your opponent tries to do stuff to go first. Basically diminishes their play style going first if you Maxi them, forcing them to kind of go all or nothing. If they go nothing, you can OTK much easier. But it is a dead card sometimes, so that's why I was hesitant like at 3, but you know, since it's at 2 now, it kind of fits perfectly. For spells, we'll go right into them. Triple Instant Fusion. Need to play Triple Instant Fusion. I've thought several times of cutting it down to 2, because I've had turns where I've opened 2 of them, but then I have several games in a row where you just don't see this card for the entire match. Double Moray of Greed. I cut down Moray from 3 to 2 because there were so many times where I would open double Moray and then it would just be dead after using the first one. So I cut it down to 2, and 2's been fine, so I think that's a good number. 1 upstart, 1 for 1. You gotta play the 1 for 1 to get your Neptibus. Like, before you go any further, just like 1 for 1, usually if you get 1 for 1 going on your turn, it just saves you so much like resources because you don't have to use your normal summon on Neptibus. You get this off, you get your Neptibus out, you can search Diva, and then that can be your normal summon. You can go with even more synchro plays there. So this card really helps you. And if it was at 3, I'd play 3 of this card just to get Neptibus faster. Then we play Raigeki, of course. You want to open up the board so you can OTK. Twin Twister, of course, hit those back row. Surface, just sets up a lot of combos, and I like it at 1. I don't think it needs to be at 2 or 3. Salvage, Mizuchi, and then lastly the 1 trap. I was thinking about playing Jar of Avarice since I just pulled one out of my Megaton. I was thinking about playing that in here, but I don't know what I'd cut because I was playing Emerald because I just wanted a way to recycle resources. Because like I've always said that, you know, after turn 1, if you burn through both your Dragoons, Neptibus is kind of useless later on, other than just reviving Atlanteans. So to be able to recycle them helps make your late game Neptibus is a lot more powerful and a lot more potent because you're sending this power card off of it, which you pretty much need to make a solid play. So that's why I was thinking about playing Jar of Avarice instead of Dagus Emerald. Now that I have the actual card, I was thinking about playing it, but I'm not too entirely sure yet. That's why you don't see it here in the main deck. Now for the extra deck, some stuff has been changed. We've gotten some new cards over the past few weeks, and you'll see what I mean. So we got Mermail Abyss Gaios, of course. You gotta play Big Daddy Gaios, number 11 Big Eye. This card is nuts. I've stolen Zolkins with this thing, it's so good. Mech Venom Beast Dragossack, I was gonna cut this just like before I did this profile for Red Eyes Flare. So I guess if you want to play Flare, the alternative is there, but I would say these two guys right here, Big Eye and Gaios, are a must. This thing can kind of change around. I know people say it's good to help set up your Moulin, but this card is just not good anymore, and it's just, if you can't set up Moulin with it, and if you're just going into it instead of Gaios, like, it's just not that useful. I find that times where you can't fully get your OTK through, being able to go to Red Eyes Flare helps seal the deal, because this card can just get outed pretty easily. But it is still a good card, don't get me wrong. 2 Abyss Dweller, love and double Abyss Dweller, comes up a lot actually. 101 and Spider Shark being for your rank 4s. You gotta play these 4, I think. You got Leo, Trish, of course, Clearwing. I've been wanting to play a level 8 Synchro. I just don't know what level 8 I would play. Probably Crystal Wing. I'm just kidding. I wish I could play Crystal Wing in here as easily as some other people, but it's just not that hard. It's not that easy to do because you don't have a level 1 tuner, and the only level 6 you play is the tuner as well. But I like Clearwing. It's actually kind of decent against some matchups, and it's a decent card to go into. And sometimes you can go into this and then help it to make a rank 7 if you wanted to, but you're sacrificing a Clearwing, of course, in the process. Now we have Coral Dragon. Coral Dragon, I don't think I've made a profile since Coral Dragon's come out, but I absolutely friggin' love this card. Anytime you can go into this card, if you're going, you know, Diva, or Infantry, Diva, and then, like, another Infantry, or if you have, like, a Marksman and your Neptibus Diva standard play, being able to go into this thing is a nice little card to go into off those awkward combinations. A lot of times you've always like, I wanted the 6 to go into, and you just never really had a good 6 to go into, but this is your good 6 now, and you can use him to synchro up even further because he is a tuner. So that is really cool, and his effect is just nuts. Discard a card, destroy a card, so it triggers guns, infantries, everything, Dragoons, and when it leaves the field, you draw a card. So it's really, really good, and I suggest anybody who hasn't played this card play it in Mermail, just because it's really, really good. Armory Arm added this card, Herald of the Arc Light, gotta play it. That and Moon is just too potent. Tatsunoko, and last but not least, our boy Norden, right there. Very, very good card, you gotta play it. But yeah, that's it for the extra deck. We'll jump into the side deck now. I'm just gonna clear this stuff out of the way. But yeah, extra deck has been pretty solid over the past few weeks. Haven't had any gripes with it, any reason to really change anything, but like I said, the one thing I said if I would change, it would probably be Dracossack, cutting Dracossack. I think it's 15 card extra deck, should be 15 cards. Cyber Dragon, double of them for Cosmo, still kind of a tough matchup, so I still play double this and the Chimera Tech just because if you don't have Dweller and like a Megalo with a Mizuchi, you don't really win that game because that's like one of their win conditions against Cosmo. Double Flying Sea, this card has been so helpful against a lot of rogue decks, and Pendulum and BA, this has been a very, very helpful card. Ghost Ogre, like I said, there's some kind of random stuff in here. I just pulled this as well, so I might as well just throw it in the side deck, right? Just throw any cool card in your side deck. Triple Magical Spring, this is a card I've been experimenting with. It's really good against DDD, which I feel like it'll be more present at my locals in the future. Has a lot of face-up spell cards. It's good against Pendulum. It's going to be really good when Metal Foes are fully enforced, so that's why I'm siding it now. Twin Twister, System Down, Cosmo continued. Forbidden Chalice, this is a good side deck card for going second. Double Scolding and one Solemn Strike. I would be trying triple Scolding, but I think this little ratio right here of 2 to 1 is not bad. But yeah, like I said, side deck is kind of irrelevant though, depending on where you're playing. You know, you don't need to copy my side deck exactly if you're playing against something completely different at your locals. But yeah, that's gonna wrap up the main side and extra. We'll go ahead and finish off the profile here. Alright guys, so that's been it for my Atlantean Mermail deck profile post the August 29th, 2016 ban list, featuring some new stuff in the extra deck like Coral Dragon. But yeah, really happy with the build, very solid build. Let me know what you guys think, as always, down in the comment section below. And yeah, leave a like if you enjoyed. And as always, Winter Kill signing out. We'll see you in the next one.